Today I'm going to talk about my PvP story. So recently I just got Bloodthirsty, or 250,000 honorable kills, and I had been working on that for a while. First thing I want to do is thank all of the 40-man HK groups I worked with: the Bloodthirsty, Issa's Cupcake Cartel, Cutthroat Gaming, also my original PvP guild, the Praetorian Guards, and also the forums. I actually learn a lot on the forums. It's a place where a lot of people do a lot of trolling, including myself, but you can actually learn some things from time to time. Not always from your own questions, but sometimes you see other people's questions, and based on the answers and the sites and the videos that get shared there, you can learn a lot. So that being said, I want to talk about how I got into PvP. The account I'm on now isn't the first account I had. The first account I started in early 2007, which was the time of the Burning Crusade. And I was just leveling, I guess it was my third or fourth character, and it was a hunter. And I was in, where is that? The Arathi Basin. And that's where, well, not Arathi Basin, Arathi Highlands. Arathi Basin is the PvP area, and during the Burning Crusade you actually had to go there and click on the guy and then sit there and queue for it. Also, there weren't cross-realm queues, so you were facing only people in your realm, and the only people on your team were from your realm. And I was there looking at the quartermaster items, and I saw these boots and they had a speed increase, so I thought that was really cool. You know, you get some boots and you can run really fast. It actually didn't make you run that fast, but I didn't know that, so I just started queuing for Arathi Basin. I played 20 games and I lost 18 of those because my realm was really terrible. And then I got those boots and it was really cool. So I didn't really PvP after that for a while. Then in Wrath of the Lich King, I had the account I'm on now, and I got to max level with my Ret Paladin, and I didn't really know what to do because before that I had always been like leveling or leveling professions. I had never been max level, so I didn't know what to do, and I was just doing heroics and getting gear. And I was talking one day in my guild and I said, I want to kill people. What should I do? And they said, you need to get honor gear. You need to go queue for battlegrounds and get gear. So I did that. But it was kind of boring and I didn't know what to do. And I got killed a lot. So I eventually ended up quitting the game for a while. And I had a friend who I did a theater show with, and she had a boyfriend, and I met them in a bar, and one of them was a 2K arena player, and he was talking about how I should play with him. So I ended up going back to WoW because of that, and he said, if you get 1,000 honorable kills by the time you get max level, because I was leveling Frost Mage, and this was during Keta. He said, if you get 1,000 HKs by the time you get 85, I'll let you be on my arena team. So I did that. I queued for BGs a lot, and eventually I think I had 5,000 by the time I hit 85. So actually I was really bad, so I couldn't be on his arena team because when I was leveling, I never CC'd or interrupted anyone, and I didn't even do good damage. So when they were doing random BGs with me, they realized I was not good enough to take into arena. But the cool thing about this guild is that they would do, every night they would do random BGs to help people gear, and they had an A RBG team that was like high rated people you had to work to get on that team, and then they had the B team where one of the players each week would take players learning or teach them how to do RBGs. And so I started doing RBGs that way, And just playing with these good players, I saw what I needed to do in a BG. So it was a really good experience for me. But that year I went off to Norway, and so I switched to EU. And once again, I was doing arenas. Well, actually, go back. So I was doing arenas with my friend, whose his name in the game was Skadvika, or Skadvik, and he had a prot warrior who he did twos with my frost mage, and we won 50% of our games. So I thought I was pretty good. I was like, wow, I'm winning for 50% of my games. I'm so good at PvP now. And then I played with the Feral Druid in the guild, and we were 0-7. We lost all 7 games, and after the first couple losses, he just kept saying, I don't know, man, I don't know. And finally he left, and he never played with me again. And so after that, I felt pretty bad that I was pretty terrible at PvP. And so I kind of quit Arena for a while. I was just doing random BG solo queue. And then I went to Norway, and I switched to EU clients. And there's a guy in my guild. I leveled another mage, and there's a guy in my guild who wanted to get 1550. He was like, it's a really cool achievement, we should try to get it. And he was a disc priest, so we were playing a lot together. I think I was playing maybe 20 to 50 games a day, and I used to be really afraid to just get my 10 wins. I was always nervous trying to find a partner, and after that I was pretty confident. I got my points every week. We never got the rating because back then, if you wanted to team with someone new, you had to leave the group, and then the team got disbanded, and then one person could stay, but a lot of times when you came back it would bug out, so you had to recreate the team again. So we got really close, maybe 1490, and then I ended up going back to America, and I left EU. I was hoping to go back and play with the Praetorian Guard people again, but they had switched to Horde while I had been gone, and then that destroyed the balance of the realm, and then a lot of them quit the game entirely. So they basically fucked up the realm and then left. And so then I just played there for a while. But the experience I got on the EU client helped me be a lot better arena player. So I continued solo queuing, capping each week. And one day I was in the middle of Stormwind. I saw one of my friends spamming about HK Farm group. So I asked him what it was, and he told me I should just join. So I joined the group, and they had a ventrilo, and I went in there, and it was really weird. It was really quiet, and then there's this East Asian guy talking really quietly, telling people what they needed to do in the game. And I remember thinking, this is really fucking weird. And then we went into Isle of Conquest, and it ended up being really cool. We were farming the Horde in the graveyard, and I would get, I guess, 200, 300 HKs each game, and I would get some honor too, and I was gearing at the time, so I was like, well, this is pretty cool, easy way to gear. And then I went away for the summer, and I didn't play WoW at all because I was working at a children's camp, and I came back, and I was trying to find out, or trying to remember what the Ventrilo was, and then I just kind of forgot about it. I was playing one week, and there was another group. They're spamming that they were HK Farm group, so I was like, cool, it's the group again. So I joined up, but this group was a different group. So that first group was TBT, and that's the Bloodthirsty, and then the new group was Cutthroat Gaming. So they were playing Alterac Valley, a totally different thing, and they were doing quick wins, and sometimes they did HK Farm games. And I was playing with them for a while. I guess I played maybe for 2 or 3 months with them, and they had a horde group, and I realized that it was a lot easier to get fast queues as the horde. And we played this other pre-made group a couple times, and they usually destroyed us. So I thought, well, I could see how that group is doing, and I could get quick queues. Maybe I won't win as much, but I'll check it out. So I went in there, and actually it was hard to find because I checked on the forums for a website. There was no website, and the group was called the Cupcake Cartel. And when I searched for it on Facebook, I found these groups with there's like an actual cupcake cartel, like women's apparel. So I found this women's fashion like lingerie thing, and it was not the group I was looking for. Eventually, I asked on the forums about it, and they said you should go to, what was that place called? There's a giant ventrilo um, place, public vent. It was created by a guy called Rathamus, and so I went in there and I found the site or the location. They were at the bottom, and actually I had to sit and wait to get in, and then I had a bunch of questions, and they finally let me in because the character I was on Bleeding Hollow, which was the same place as a guy that they didn't like, and they were trying to not let him get in the games. So they thought I was a spy or something for a while. Well, eventually they forgot about it and they didn't really care. But the games with them were all HK farms. None of them were the quick wins that Cutthroat Gaming had been doing. So I played with them for a while, and then I ended up going to Turkey in 2014. And Turkey is 7 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, 10 hours ahead of Pacific Standard Time. And the leader of the group, Isa, she was in California. So I was 10 hours ahead of her and many of the other leaders. So I couldn't really do those games anymore. And the weird thing about doing those games is you're in a big group with a bunch of people, and the people may or may not be good at PvP at all. And this isn't just like the IC3 or TBT. It could be any pre-made group. And so I didn't really improve that much as a player and on the Warlock I was playing. And when I went to EU and I was trying to get gear, I was getting destroyed. So I started doing twos as Affliction, which Affliction wasn't that good at. It wasn't good to play at the beginning of Warlords of Draenor. And also, it's never been a great double DPS spec for twos. So I was losing a lot, but in losing and playing by myself, not in a 40-man pre-made, I started to improve a lot as a player 1v1 and in small fight scenarios. And I played there for a while. Eventually, I missed all the characters and mounts and achievements I had, so I went back to the US again. And that's actually where I play now on the same account I'm on now. But I always have 200 MS because the server location is really far away. So since then, I've just been playing by myself. Most of my friends have quit, and I used to play with some forum people, but I got permanently banned for the forums, and also because of the time difference, it's hard to really hook up with anyone. So I'm mostly just doing solo stuff. And so the last year or two, I've been working on different 100 wins achievements for Battlemaster and Con, and that's how I got most of the HKs. So about 100,000 were from those three groups, TBT, CTG, and IC3, and the rest came from solo queuing for Ashran or random battlegrounds. That's basically the story. I also did YOLO RBGs, and I ended up the last season of Warlords of Draenor, I ended up leading over 100 of those. And so what I do now is I'll show a montage of all my characters and how many HKs they have.
till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.